Hi everybody, Alex Employer from Expert Forex. Welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be looking at the current state of the market in the next few minutes, and then we'll also review some GTM, Grid Trend Multiplier EA information. And if you do have any questions, comments, or remarks, just send them through and I'll do my best to answer them. So I think let's get straight into it. I see there's still a few people arriving, but they can catch up with us as we go through. So I'll share my screen, which is this one. Okay, now I'll go to the 360 first. Now, the one thing I look at is the RSI multi-period table, because I like the RSI. It tells me a lot of information. It tells me that in the short term, there's a couple of currencies that are moving, but on the 4-hour, which I'm the most interested in, I can see that there's some CAD movements there, and a bit of franc movements going on there. So CAD, let's just go and see what's going on with the CAD and the franc. The CAD and the franc. Okay, so if we look at the daily relative strength chart, we can see that the CAD is actually the strongest currency over the last day. And the weakest ones are the pound and the euro. So let's have a look. So we've got the pound CAD, which is completely oversold, and we have the euro CAD that is oversold. So it's basically translating back into the RSI readings. Let's have a look at the franc. Why is the franc like that? The franc is also strong, but not the strongest, and it's partners that it's reflecting. It's the euro that's weak and the pound that is weak. So it's the euro weak, the pound is weak, and that's why the franc is giving those overbought and oversold readings. And you can see how they change from time to time. So that all makes sense. Well, it'll all make sense when we look at the charts, because quite honestly, we don't even need to do this. We can see all this information on the charts. Okay, and you can see how this chart is in particular is jumping around quite a lot. But we watch the CAD and watch the franc as we go through the charts. So let's go and have a look at the multiple moving averages. And again, I'll focus on the 4-hour, and we'll have a look at there. Now, yesterday there was one in particular. Here we are, the Euro New Zealand. We said that this one is ledging in the direction of the trend, and it was also the moving averages were consolidating right there, and we said what we'll do is we would straddle it, and the favored direction was actually the with the trend direction, and you can see it's battling to break out there. We would be in a sell right now because it would have activated that one. So it's battling. You can see there's the spikes at the bottom here are pretty strong spikes, but certainly the momentum seems to be going that way. And as we've seen, the euro is weakening, so maybe the euro will support that particular trade. So let's have a look at some other ones that are setting up that way, and there are quite a few on the charts that are starting to knot. That's what I call it, not where it provides great straddle opportunities. And there's the Aussie Yen, the Aussie itself also knotting quite strongly there. A straddle is a good strategy to follow, and then the yen in particular knotting quite nicely there, and again a great straddle opportunity there. So Aussie straddle, yen straddle, Aussie yen straddles seems to be, and then those aren't really getting to the point. That's pretty close to franc, but we'll leave that one for now. The pound yen, that's looking good. Yeah, that's also good for a straddle. And let's just say that you would do that more or less this way. Straddle at the bottom like that, and you'd straddle over the top like that. So there's a straddle for the pound yen. Let's see how that works out tomorrow. Certainly, most of them look like a trend continuation activity, but let's see how that goes. That one, that one might even have broken out already. See, there was a really successful straddle. This one, pretty close to being. So this one we'd also regard that as a potential straddle. Pound yen's nice and volatile, so when it moves quite nicely. You know, as you can see there, boom, boom. There's quite strong movements when it actually does move. So let's have a look if those straddles catch these particular trades. Okay, so that's those are the trades based on the multiple moving average. Let's have a look at the channel trading on the 4-hour. And yesterday again, I think we noticed this one. This was quite a nice trade. Bounce there, bounce there, bounce there, bounce there, and sort of bounce there. Wasn't a complete one, but we'll take that as number one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was determined as the bouncing point for this particular one. I've got the arrow in there, so let's just take it out. So that one seems to be on its way, potentially on its way down, following the channel it's a with the trend trade, which is quite a good one, and that is a potential trade there, and one could have got in quite early there, right at the top. The thing about channel trading is that it reduces your need for a stop considerably, because you could literally put your entry on the channel line right there. And we have a tool that automates that. So you draw your lines and you say, when the price bounces off that, I want to enter a trade, and the tool will in fact do that for you automatically. It's like an EA. So that would this would be, and the advantage of that is that, again, the stops are so small, but you're also getting your full value of the actual run. Should this run all the way down to around about here, then you'll get your full whack for your buck, as it were. Let's have a look who's in that. Oh, a lot of people have joined since I started talking. Okay, so that was yesterday's observation. The other observation we had yesterday was we looked at this one, and we said this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 should be over there, but it did look like yesterday that this wasn't going to make the 5, and this would be classified as a failed swing. In other words, it didn't swing to the other side. It actually decided to fail, and this is a potential sell transaction, and it in fact is a sell transaction. You could basically enter it right now if you wanted to, and it should break out and go to the bottom of this, the same width of the channel. That's more or less where the target would be for this particular trade. Okay, so those are setting up quite nicely. Let's have a look if there's anything else. And here's another failed swing. No, not really. 1, 2, 3 should go up there to 4. It's trying to fail, and so there's a potential fail swing there. Let me just mark it. There we are. So I try to get these recordings of the webinars out as quickly as possible. Must probably only get out tomorrow, but certainly that is a good setup. That is a good setup for a sell setup that we've identified, but it's too late to enter it now. Should enter it on the touch of the and you can see there's a lot of failed swings setting up here. It's failing, and you would then again, let me just mark it. You would buy the breakout of the channel there. That one's already. So you see how similar the market is at the moment. A lot of the charts are setting up very consistently. And let's have a look at this one. Boom. Okay, so why these charts are consistent is these are all yen crosses. So that's the euro yen, the pound yen, and the Aussie yen. So they all got this same shape, that same shape happening at the moment. You'll see these have more or less the same shape. Not really there. That's more or less the same shape as that. In fact, it's almost identical. And then let's have a look at these ones, not really setting up the same shapes. All right, so I think that's the channel trading side of things. We just watch these ones. We have got the arrows. That one's already in. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's a bit late, but that could be over here. We could have another sell opportunity riding up there. If it breaks out that trend line, then certainly that might be a sell there. It's with the trend, so that would make a good sell. Okay, just shoot through any comments, questions, or remarks. If you notice anything that I might have missed, just let me know. And so we've done the multiple moving averages. We've done the channel trading. I'm just going to look at the RSI high level ones right now. We'll have a look at over here. And what have we got here? All right, so nothing to write home about. Yesterday we noticed this one. Now the problem with this one, it didn't have a divergence there, and it did break through. So if you entered over there, you would be slightly positive. There you are, but it's not. It doesn't look like a great trade. But certainly you would have been positive there. I like looking at the phase that we're in, but the RSIs here look a little bit messy. So I'm not going to comment on this one. This one, and this is the Oz. Just looks like it's building up a level of support there, as well as a level of support there, and I just that just looks like a sell. It's just one of those things, but it looks like a sell. You've got your two mounds, and if it breaks through that trend line, then certainly that would set up for a good sell. The fact that it's not rushing for the trend line on the RSI means that there might be something else playing up there. Not so much. Oh, this one. Huh. Yeah. Though that's a head and shoulders, it doesn't really count because it's not at the end of a trend, but it might be part of a funnier, bigger head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. So there certainly could be a breakout point right there. Okay, so just identifying potential trades that you can consider. That one's consolidating quite strongly. It's the yen. Wouldn't trade it if it's doing that kind of thing. The same thing here. The franc's also sideways, and that one's got a bit of momentum going down. Okay, so that's that group, and then let's have a look at the other group. Okay, so yesterday we actually identified these trades. They're not going anywhere. This one's sort of breaking even at the moment. That's the entry point right there, breaking even. Same thing here, two humps, trend line violation. There it is. It's making a small profit. at the moment, and then this one 200. They're identical. Look at there's all identical setups, and this one is actually making a small loss at the moment. So we'll look at that. And then here's another one. Exactly, you can almost see it's like was carbon copies of each other. This one's not. It was also breaking even. It's not playing out now. I think the UK has opened. Nothing seems to be, the candles don't seem to be very big for the opening of the UK. So we'll have to wait for the US to provide the liquidity for these moves to happen. Okay, so that's the review for today. You can see when a deal is playing out, like these deals are what I call playing out, you can't really look for new deals. You can either enter them or just wait and see what happens next. Okay, so let's have a look at the GTM plug and play settings that I mentioned in my email earlier. Now the GTM, let's see if I can get something going here. Let's see, get that going. Okay, all right. Hopefully you can see that. Just let me know if you can't see a black screen. Let me know. But if you're seeing a black screen, I'll take the silence as being agreeing that you can see a black screen. Now this is a photo because unfortunately this trading actually happens on one of our other computers, and if I use TeamViewer and this Zoom software at the same time, then sometimes the computer can't take both the softwares at the same time. So I'm sparing the resources on this one. And here you can see since we started. Now we started most of the pay and pick the plug and play versions on the 1st of June, and they've been running for half a month. And here you can see the trading that's happened on the GTM. I think the gap, this is we're using the presets for the Euro USD. So what I've done is I've opened 12 live accounts trading the presets for the grid trend multiplier. So there are 4 currencies, and each one has an aggressive, conservative, or balanced version, and this one in fact is the balanced version of the euro. So the euro had quite a good strong trend going up, and now it's coming back to the sort of body of the movement of the currency, and now you can see that it opens buys and sells and cashes in and cashes in and cashes in. But when it starts trending, all the sells that are down here are left. They actually left as open trades. And there you can see sell, 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 sell. And then the same thing happens at the top here. All the buy ones suddenly get left on their own, and as the price moves down. So you have a whole lot of open buys and an open sells. And what that creates is what I call a carpet, because what now happens is that this particular account started with $1,000. It is now 1,078 in terms of equity. In terms of its balance, it's 215. So what this, because it's got a positive equity, it means that what I call a carpet, all these open trades have been paid for, in other words. So although they open and they've got negative balances and all that, they are paid for because the equity is positive. And when you've got a paid for carpet, it means that the price can just move up and down, and you are literally printing money, because this carpet is actually a paid for carpet. So every single movement, all you want the price to do is go up 100 pips, down 100 pips, up 100 pips, down 100 pips, and you're just printing money all the time while that's happening, because the cost of your carpet isn't increasing much. When it gets to the edges, it increases a little bit, but on the whole, the cost of your carpet doesn't increase. Does that make sense to everybody? So it takes a while for grid trend multiplier trading to mature. So while it was going up here, it was probably in quite a strong drawdown. When it reached there, it most probably was in a very strong drawdown. Then it came back and really just cashed in a whole lot, and then went up there, and must have been quite a strong drawdown, because all of these cells were open at that point, and then it really cashed in a whole lot more, and now it's actually in profit, and that's basically how the GTM works. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Either everybody's stunned or they understand exactly what's going on here. But I thought I'd just give you a background to how it trades. What we'll do, and let me see if I can do this in some way or the other, is I'll show you the actual accounts, if I can find them. Okay, let me drag them on there. Okay, so here are all the GTM monitoring accounts. Now, what I did in the beginning of June is we basically took the plug and play settings that were given, that somebody who buys the EA on the 1st of June would have used, and in fact, I think I did a video of how to set this up, and we plugged everything in. Started with $1,000. Now you can see there are two that have, the one's just gone negative by $2 or to $1, in fact, $1.30, and the other one's negative. So of the 12 accounts that there are, 2 are negative and the others are nicely positive. So it just shows you, all you have to do is give this grid trend multiplier some time, and it will mature. And what happens is that this floating profit and loss, we'll look at the amount that is involved there, doesn't change much. After a while, it doesn't change much, because it's in the middle of the carpet and all that. Now, a major trend will change that, but while it's in the middle of the carpet, this won't change, but you just will increase your balance more and more as you cash in, and that's how the GTM works. So what we're saying, this is a portfolio of 12 accounts, and we're saying overall it's just positive. It's not positive by much, but this is the purpose of this portfolio, is actually to see which currencies work, which settings work. Like, for instance, at the moment, the balance setting and the aggressive setting and the conservative for the euro are the best. And if you look at the bottom here, the euro franc, and the euro franc are the worst settings. Now, I would think that the euro franc is actually a low volatility currency, and it would suit the GTM. So this isn't worked out so far, but as time goes on, now look, that's actually changed quite a bit. As time goes on, this might become positive again, and then everything will be fine. And if we go and have a look at some of the trades, well, we can look at the overall situation first, and let's have a look at what's happening. You can see there are 105 trades a day. So those 12 currencies are generating almost 10 trades a day. So that's pretty good. A lot of trading going on, and those returns are actually deceiving, because it's the returns are based on your profit less your floating profit. And if you look here, it's easy. The equity should be 12,000. It's actually 12,300. So the 330 is actually your profit. Let's just see if I go to close trade orders, then you can see. Ooh, There are, is this right? Yeah, it is right. There are 1,980 orders that have been closed. So that's how active this trading is. So almost 2,000 orders have been made by the GTM in these last 2 weeks. The brokers love this EA because it's just printing spread for them. But there we are. And then if we look at the open trades, we have 236. So that gives you an idea of the volume of trades that's happening. Bearing in mind, we're trading 12 EAs at the same time on this particular account. All right, any questions or comments? I've lost my chat box. Don't know where it's gone. That's very funny. Let's see if I can find it again. I did the same on a demo account. So far, it's looking good. Okay, thanks for that feedback. Yes, you should be getting exactly the same. In fact, you might even be getting better results than, yeah. Also, what's interesting is if we look at the closed orders, you'll see the gap that I'm using is 20 or on average around 20. And you'll see that there's quite a bit of slippage sometimes on these amounts. And I mean, there's one big slippage there, and so there is there is, in spite of a lot of slippage, this is nicely positive. Okay, so now I think the other point is that the value of having a portfolio like this is that you can, as I said, always identify which strategies, whether the aggressive, the balanced, or the conservative strategies are the best, and you can also determine which currencies are the best here. And over time, we would possibly change currencies if necessary, or we'd change. Now, the grid trend multiplier is a very simple EA because all you have to change is either the currency or the gap size. So the gap size could go from 20 to 25 or from 25 to 30. And that's the only changes you'd make. So if a currency is not doing well and you want to decrease the risk, you increase the gap size a little bit. Not too much, just maybe 5 pips or so. If the currency is doing well, you could just keep it as it is, or you could even decrease the gap size and make it more aggressive. So the settings on the grid trend multiplier is very easy. It's all about grid size, but bearing in mind that you need to use very low lot sizing when trading this, and we recommend 0.01 lots for every 1,000 that you trade. All right, I think that's about it. I see there's no further questions, comments, or remarks. Thank you very much for attendance. We've had a nice full group here, and I hope you've seen something that that has been educational and will help your Forex trading into the future. From me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.